Right then, guys, how's it going? Welcome back to TOON Tuesdays, your weekly roundup of Newcastle United news. Hope you guys are all doing good. We are live once again, so thank you to everyone I can see jumping in the chat, and hello to everyone who's watching this back as a video as well. So we have quite a bit to talk about today. Obviously, for Newcastle, it has been a pretty interesting international break. It's not often in the past a Newcastle fan had too much to cheer about at all, to be honest. Never mind the international break, and there has been quite a lot going on. So I want to talk about a handful of different things really today. Before we then talk about, which is the thumbnail and the title of this video, the 5 signings we want to see for Newcastle in January. Now, I know January is still very far away, and I do also want to talk about today the Brentford game coming up this Saturday. So I want to have a bit of fun with the transfer stuff, and as it says in the title, it is going to be fan voted. So it will be the guys who are watching in the chat right now. You guys are going to have your say on who you want to try and see a sign in January. But I will leave the poll open for anybody who's watching this back as a video as well and might also want to get involved. Jamie's birthday is on Saturday. Can I have a shout out? Of course you can, Jamie. Happy birthday for you. Saturday coming, I'm guessing. And fingers crossed we can get 3 points. And the big dog's back. Real Murky, who managed to sort out my audio issues last week. So here we go. William started things off with the first question here, saying, what are your thoughts on Andy Carroll? So this is one thing I had on my list to talk about today. Andy Carroll has made a move. Well, I say made a move. He has joined a club. He has joined Reading, getting a contract for himself there. I mean, I think for all Newcastle fans, the Andy Carroll situation ultimately was very disappointing, wasn't it? I think we all wanted to see him come back to Newcastle and get himself a couple of goals. Obviously, not only did he struggle in front of goal in general, but we didn't even get a chance to see him get his goal at St James's Park, did we? So there he is there holding up his Reading shirt, a 2-month contract. You know, it's not a very long one. It takes him into January, and it gives Reading a chance to decide on whether they think pretty much whether he's going to keep his fitness, isn't it? You know, that's pretty much what it comes down to. We've got some people wishing Andy some good luck there from Jabba. Hope you're well, by the way, Jabba. And Joel as well there. Still waiting to announce that Carroll left. Yeah, you've got a point, Nathan, to be fair. I think he just walked out the back door, didn't he, really? And then didn't hear from him again. So, yeah, got to wish Andy Carroll the best of luck. You know, I would have absolutely loved it if when Carroll came back, he could have maybe contributed a little bit more to the NUFC cause, but it never really worked out. And as I say, the pandemic as well really didn't help his situation. 32 years old now with the horrible injury issues. From what I can tell, Reading aren't doing too great this season, and I think they've got, well, basically injury issues up front. So they've brought Carroll in on a, as I say, short term, I would say, is a year, 6 months. You know, extremely short year, 2-month contract. So yeah, I wish him the best. Hopefully he can stay fit for his whole time there, and you never know, maybe we could see a little bit more of him. I mean, you've got to give it to him as well. You know, he's had a good career, 32 years old. He could have just left it there. So to actually put himself out there in the Championship to try and play a little bit more football is quite admirable, to be honest. So So well done to him. I can see people are already jumping in with thoughts on the transfer stuff, which we are going to get onto very shortly. Delightful skins fade, mate. Yes, thank you, mate. I tell you what, I do like it short on the sides, but I think I could have done with a little bit more off the top, to be honest. I was a little bit scared and said, "Oh, just a little trim on top." And in hindsight, I could have done with a little bit more off the top. But yes, looking forward to Saturday. Hopefully, we can see our first 3 points of the season. But yeah, I can see people jumping in here now with a few ideas for the transfers in January. So we will jump onto that very shortly. Thank you to Davey for throwing in a few names there. Something else that I wanted to mention, obviously, as I say, we've had a very exciting 5 players you would sell as well. Yeah, we'll do all of that in a second, mate. Absolutely. That's quite a good one, Well said, Jabba. So another thing to touch on as well was obviously Eddie Howe. We obviously spoke about this on the last TOON Tuesdays when it's got announced. We've been getting more and more from Eddie Howe as the days have gone on. And now that includes some training photos and information from the squad actually going to St. James's Park and doing a full training session there as well, which I think is, there you go, Shelby's face when he realizes how much running he's about to have to do. But yeah, again, I think everyone's very excited about the Eddie Howe appointment. And as we're moving into Brentford at the weekend, there's been more and more coming out. Obviously, we looked at the Amanda Staveley interview as well, which was great to see. We got a full press conference of Eddie Howe last week. We got a full behind-the-scenes interview with him last week as well. And I did wonder what we'd get this week. And to be fair, I know it's only Tuesday, but we haven't heard too much. And I think it's because, for good reason, and it's that these guys are working behind the scenes to get themselves ready for Saturday. A few pictures of Dwight Gale. I mean, has he got a chance under Eddie Howe? It'll be very interesting to see. I mean, Joe Willock is a man I think we all want to see try and really regain some form under the new manager, and same with Joe Linton. In fairness, I'll throw this out there as well. I was reading about Joe Linton the other day. Apparently, Joe Linton has been doing a whole load of fitness and tactical training on his own, aside from the squad. So I know Joe Linton gets a hell of a lot of stick, and to be honest, with a 40 million price tag, I do think it's there you go. Curry coming in. I hope he can fix Joe Linton. I think we all do, mate. But yeah, apparently Joe Linton's actually out there doing private training himself, trying to get himself, into a place where he can actually be getting into this team. Because at the moment, I think he'll be struggling. And I do want to talk about that as well. So again, for people who are jumping into the stream now, we're just looking at a few little bits and pieces here of Eddie Howe. We've spoken about Carroll going to Reading. I also want to talk about the transfers. This is a bit of fun. And I want to finish the stream as well, actually talking about the lineups ready for Brentford. And we are going to, as a stream, pick our 11 for Brentford going into the weekend as well. So if you're jumping in now, there should be quite a lot of fun to go through today. Hello to you, my friend, PokerStar. Hope you're doing well from Australia, mate. I know you've been subbed for a very long time, so I do really appreciate it, and appreciate you getting up early to watch the stream as well. But yeah, again, it's great to see these kind of photos coming out. It's great to see St. Max training and obviously Eddie Howe doing his bit there. Fernandez is obviously must have been unbanned from the bench because he's there as well. I think Eddie Howe will work extra hours with players who want it or need it. I agree, Sean. Absolutely. We've seen it already. His 12-hour, 13-hour days that he's been putting in at the training ground, and a few of the interviews I've seen from Bournemouth, out on the bike with King, the striker, having a one-on-one chat and that kind of thing is really good to see. I'm becoming a massive fan of this of this jacket as well. I think it'll cost a fortune to buy though, but I am becoming a fan of that. Ryan thinks Joe Linton will strive under the new boss. Yeah, we'll talk about Joe Linton a little bit more in a bit, but I definitely. And again, I was chatting with my friends about this on Saturday, and I don't know, I think they really agreed with it, to be honest. But what I was trying to say was, at the end of the day, Joe Linton's been struggled when he's put up front on his own or jacket sold out, mate. No way. I wouldn't be surprised the amount it's been photographed in the last couple of weeks. I would not be surprised if a lot of people have ran out and got that. But yeah. Yeah, Joe Linton thrived, and when I said I think Joe Linton struggled when he's been thrown up top on his own, or when he's shoved out on the wing on his own. I think maybe if we actually play a 2 with Wilson up front, Joe Linton in behind, or even, as I say, I want Wilson to be. I don't really want Wilson to be doing too much tracking because he'll pull a hamstring. I just want him to kind of stand on the pen spot for the whole game. I want Joe Linton to be the man who does all that chase. And again, my friends were saying that they would rather see Miggy do it, which I think's a decent shout as well. I just think Joe Linton's got a good frame on him to really put himself about. So I'm really hoping he can kind of, find his feet a little bit. Hello, Ivan. Good evening to you, mate. Hope you're doing well. Plenty of comments coming in about the transfers. I'll jump through this now, and then we'll get on to looking at the transfers together. As I say, I want to do a poll. I want you guys to vote for who you think we should be signing in the January. I think the way we're going to do it is we're going to probably look through a whole host of names because as I can say, you guys are throwing the names in here all over the place. Van der Beek, Lingard, Tarkowski. And a striker. Yeah, the striker's a funny one. I'm not 100% sure on striker either, so I definitely want to hear what you guys think. Shame that Lewis and Shaw have been on international duty. A great chance for them. Yeah, I agree with that too, Nathan. I think Lewis is another player that people are really hoping that we might see a little bit more from. And you're right with Shaw as well. He goes off on international duty, gets them qualified. And does his bit there, and then he can't even see the first 11 in our team, which, I think is a mystery to quite a lot of people, to be honest. But yeah, anyway, it's great to see that Eddie Howe's kind of out there doing his bit and trying to get these guys ready for the weekend. Something else that I want to talk about very briefly was if people haven't seen, Jonas Gutierrez is officially retired now from football. Now, if you guys didn't know, he'd been out doing his bit over in Argentina for his home country, and at the age of 38, has finally brought an end to his career. So there's been a lot of best wishes for Gutierrez out there on Twitter and everything else. The reason I brought up this Geordie Boot Boys website was because I thought that picture was hilarious. Of look at Gutierrez and Colaccini and Kevin Keegan in the middle. It wasn't quite the best of spells for us, but Gutierrez certainly left his mark the season where he scored his goal and kept us in the Premier League. So best wishes to Gutierrez. And again, to bring it on to like an even larger scale conversation, people like Gutierrez and Gutierrez was king of, yeah, that's it, mate. The goal he scored to keep us up after he was horribly mistreated by the club. Let's not deny that whatsoever. The poor guy was very ill. And I'm not going to speak out of term too much because I wasn't there behind the scenes watching it all, but allegedly, and from what we can all see, he pretty much got told, well, if you're not well enough to play, you can pack your bags and get out, which is just absolutely disgusting at the end of the day. So very sad to hear that Gutierrez, our good luck charm. I mean, I would again, I know bringing it onto a larger scale conversation, and this is still more off the field stuff when really we need to concentrate on the field at the moment. but I would absolutely love to see someone like Gutierrez having a more of a role in the backroom staff, or just being there for the match days. Real life superhero he was. So massive big up to Gutierrez. There he is. That was the moment. Jonas is a club legend. Yes, he is, sure. So big up to Jonas. Hopefully we might see him back at, well, not in a playing capacity, but hopefully we might see him back at St. James's Park. And the final thing I wanted to mention, well, there's two actually. Two things to mention before we'll get on to the transfers. The first one, and it's not really new news anymore. I think this is pretty much old news, but it's been heating up a lot in the last couple of days. And it is that our constant look for a director of football seems, if you'll believe all of the media outlets, is almost up. Michael Emenalo is apparently confident he will be named Newcastle director of football to work with new boss Eddie Howe. Now, I mean, the source is obviously not the best, so take it for what you will. But and this kind of does bring us on to discussing transfers for January, because, as I say, the fact that Eddie Howe was announced as head coach says to me that, you know, they are kind of giving Eddie Howe full reign over the current playing situation. The fact that Eddie Howe needs to concentrate on us staying up. They will likely hand off the transfers, maybe more behind the scenes dealings, to a director of football. And that is something that the new owners have, you know, from the moment they got here, is something that they'd seemed quite keen to do. Amanda Staveley spoke about the fact that, you know, they are new to this. They are going to make mistakes. They want to learn. And the best way to try and help that situation is by bringing in someone who does know what to do. So as I say, good old Michael here. He had previously worked at Chelsea, and I think that's what's getting a lot of people very excited. Linked with bringing players to Chelsea, such as, I think it was De Bruyne, Mo Salah. I know obviously he didn't have a great time when he was at Chelsea, but obviously he must have seen something in him that he thought was going to work. Along with Eden Hazard as well. He also brought Juan Mata, Courtois, and Fabregas during his stint in West London. So, I mean, this guy definitely knows what he's doing. There is money there for him to spend, and it's not quite as headline exciting as it is bringing in new manager Eddie Howe. But I definitely think for the structure and the going forward of our club, that having someone like this brought in behind the scenes is going to make a massive difference. Was I in Barcelona on Saturday? Oh, Barca, as in... Yes, I was in Barcelona on Saturday. I thought you meant Barcelona as in actually in Spain. No, I wasn't. I was in Barca. I did it... Shall I bring this up for you guys to have a look at? This was my fun at the weekend. If I can find it. This is very off topic, so I do apologize, but hopefully it'll, who knows, maybe one of you guys will want to try it. Is it going to load? It's not working, guys. Sorry. Oh, I'll have a look for it later on. Yes, I was in Barca, mate. I did a bar crawl along Gossip High Street, and it was very fun, and I had a lot of drink. But yes, it was a good laugh. But yeah. So fingers crossed, director of football is appointed soon. As I say, you know, we are approaching this Brentford game. We're gonna discuss that later on in the stream. Before we do that, we're gonna discuss the transfer window in January. which, as I say, this director of football chat does bring us onto quite nicely, is that hopefully this guy is going to have people waiting 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of January, because really we want these deals to be ready. We want them to go. I think we could possibly have a tough time in January. Obviously, we've heard the idea that clubs are going to apparently boycott allowing Newcastle to buy players from them and all this kind of thing. Honestly, for people who are worrying about that, I can't see it happening. I mean, I think that there will be some resistance from some clubs, but at the end of the day, if you've got money and you're willing to spend it, these guys aren't idiots. If we're offering 10 million for a player whose contract ends in 6 months, they're going to sell them. Let's be honest, it isn't going to stop teams from selling us players. Elimano would like to work with Howe. Do you think Howe will welcome a director of football above him too? That's a really good question. Honestly, and this was the kind of thing that when we had Rafa Benitez, seemingly was a bit of a problem, because Rafa wanted full control over what he did with transfers and everything else, and that was ultimately why, or it seems to be why, Rafa didn't stay, why Rafa did leave in the end. And talking about the idea that apparently Ashley and Charnley wanted to buy Joe Linton, but Rafa didn't want him because he would rather spend the 40 million somewhere else. And that was kind of the falling out scenario. And I definitely think that Eddie Howe would probably want as much control of the situation as he can have. But I think the fact that he was announced as a head coach, and Joel's put it in there, surely they discussed the situation with Eddie in the interview. Yeah, I think that's the end. That's it, exactly. I think the fact that they've announced him as head coach, presumably if Eddie hadn't had that conversation and he walks out and they go, here is head coach Eddie Howe, and he goes, hang on, I thought I was meant to be the manager here, so yeah, Eddie Howe will have been told director of football coming in, so should be no problem. I do agree, and again, I think the fact that Eddie Howe spoke about this in his press conference about the fact that he's here to concentrate on the football. I think all that kind of chat was kind of leading up to the fact that basically he was aware of the situation and that he wanted to do his bit on the pitch, and what looks likely someone else will come in and do their bit off the pitch as well. So while we are talking about transfers, and I mean the thumbnail and the title of the video is all about the January transfer window, so let's get onto it. As I say, what I want to do today is basically you guys start letting me know now who you would like to see us sign in January. I think the thumbnail that I posted was quite funny. However, not realistic, if we're being honest. Which is why I thought I'd put it on there, because it was a good laugh. So there it is. Who would you sign? So if we're being perfectly honest, it's not going to be any of these guys. If you want me to put some daft players on the list and we can all vote for them in the end, I'm more than happy to do so. But if we want to keep it, great thumbnail. Thank you, Ryan. But if we want to have a serious convo as well about players that we genuinely would like to see, and that's one thing you got to think about as well. It's not just players and players' names. It's looking at players that will actually fit into our squad, players who are in positions that we desperately need help in. And ideally, we want to try and get 5. The 5, we're going to all vote, and it'll be the top 5 who win the vote. So as I say, ideally, I think we'll want at least one striker. I would probably go a striker. Oh, yeah, I'll let you guys tell me. Why spoil the fun too early? Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up a separate list here. I'll show you guys me doing it to start with. We're all high tech on here. We're going to do a straw poll. So, okay, here's the poll, and I'll pull it off screen while we're talking. Top, what do you reckon? Top 5 January targets. NUFC. Who should we buy? Right then. So, one thing I'll put on screen while we talk about it as well, is I did find quite a good link to a website that's currently showing the most up to date. Is that a bit zoomed out? Most up to date odds on here. So let's start getting in your guys here. Wow, there's quite a few already. Good players in these leagues, yeah. I'm lost, right? So Daniel's saying Dembele. I think that's a fair shout. I think again, the thing is, I think what the owners want, and I'm going to try and talk about each one. I think we could end up with quite a few, but I'm going to try and talk through them as we go anyway. The reason I think Dembele is a definite possibility is, and if we're being honest, tricky wingers, is that really, our like top priority? But what I think about Dembele is the fact that yes, the owners want to bring in sensible players, who are going to do well for us and are going to work hard and all that kind of stuff. But what the owners also want to do is they want to kind of announce themselves onto the scene. So I think players like Dembele, Coutinho, I think these kind of players have a bit of razzmatazz to it. If we bring in Tarkowski in the window, I'll be buzzing because we needed centre back. But that doesn't quite have the razzmatazz that the new owners want. So I definitely think that Dembele is the kind of player that we could well see heavily linked in January. Whether it would happen or not, I don't know. But I think those kind of names are kind of in there for a reason. This man would love to see Ake join. Well, that's a name that's only recently cropped in, isn't it? He was someone that, following the appointment of Eddie Howe, and I'll add him to the list for you now, mate. Following the appointment of Eddie Howe, has now been linked very heavily to us, and that is all down to the fact that he had that previous relationship with Ake at Bournemouth. And I'll be honest, it's that's one that I quite like. Again, he's at Man City. He's not getting the game time. The only thing, and again, this is something that's going to affect us full stop in the January. Sorry. And that is that if we are in the bottom 3, first of all, if we are still in the bottom 3 come January, first of all, clubs are going to make it so difficult for us to sign players, because at the end of the day, if we are still in the bottom 3 1st of January, we will have to sign players, because everyone knows that we haven't been able to do it without signings, and the pressure just builds so high. Does Ake want to get off his comfy seat on the Man City bench and come and fight for us in relegation? I don't know. I think Ake would be a lot more tempted if we could be in 16th, 15th place, where we've kind of shown that we can stay up without signing players. So first of all, it's great for us in the window because it means that the pressure is off us a little bit. That if we don't sign anyone, we've kind of shown that we can kind of do it. But also for players who are looking at potentially signing for us, would rather that we were kind of doing all right rather than joining a team who's in the crap. So yeah, I like the Ake. I think for him to get off his comfy seat at Man City and come and fight in the relegation might be a tough sell, unless again the relationship with Eddie Howe and him is actually that strong, and he can actually pull him over that quickly. I can see loads of you guys doing big long lists of players. If you just chuck in one or two per person, that'll be great, and it'll give me the chance to kind of run through them all as well, because I can see there's lots of comments coming in here. Jabba thrown in Zaha as well. That's another one that's on this list here, and again, we'll have the vote at the end, so we will ultimately find out who you guys want to see, and I will keep adding these people to these lists as we go on. I think Zaha is an interesting one, you know. I wouldn't have, because with Zaha, like, obviously at Crystal Palace, he's always looked really good. And then he, when he had his time at Manchester United, didn't quite go as well, and it's just, would Zaha come to us because we paid him loads of money, or would he? Because how old is Zaha now as well? Zaha's 29. So yeah, he's definitely got some years in him. The only thing for me is if I was Zaha, and he is a good player, and we know he's a good player, Newcastle is a few years away from, really, for me, getting a cup, even the League Cup. I think we're years away from that, and then you're talking like top 6 or top 4 or even Premier League titles. We're like 10 years away from that. So if I was Zaha, I think I would be looking at trying to join a team this summer that he can win something with that year. But then again, I'm not Zaha, and we're choosing people we want to buy. It's not up to Zaha. But yeah, if you got a good offer, then maybe you would go. And I also think Crystal Palace are probably at the point now where maybe they do want to cash out on Zaha, because in a couple of years' time, he won't be worth what he will be worth this January or summer. So I think he's definitely a player that could be available, which is, again, most likely why the bookies are throwing him in there at a 5-1. So yeah, we have got him on the list as well. Porco, our Australian friend, Tarkowski, Ake, and Ramsey. So we have Ake on there already, but we'll add Tarkowski. Well, I mean, again, he is, well, you can see on the side, he's the one we've been talking about for a couple of weeks now. So he was always going to end up on there, wasn't he? And I quite like Ramsey as well, to be honest. Tarkowski, I think, to be honest, we need defenders desperately. So I think any centre back we're linked with, to be honest, would probably suit me quite nicely. And again, he is Burnley player who is contract ends in the summer. So again, you're looking at Burnley really like another relegation rival. Do they want to sell us one of their key centre-backs when they're hoping we go down? Like, they're not really going to want to help us stay up, are they? Because they're going to want to see us get relegated. So you could see a little bit of politics there. But at the end of the day, if we come in with a 10 million bid, which I think is fair, maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 million, I think 10 million's probably would get him, to be honest. His contract ends in the summer. Burnley are going to want to cash in while they can, despite the fact they would be helping a relegation rival. That's something that they're going to want to look at. And Ramsey, to be fair, I could be. There you go. Isn't that clever? Scroll down a little bit and you can see other players as well. So Ramsey's on there as well. He's 7-1. Should have mentioned, actually, Tarkowski is actually the number 1 probability percentage according to this website. So I'm not quite sure how they're working out this probability stuff. It's the odds, isn't it, that they're given? But it's quite funny to think that that's their probability, because they haven't got a clue. Anyway, Ramsey, 7-1 odds on Ramsey if you were interested in putting a bet on him. Again, I like the Ramsey one. He's not getting his game time at Juventus. And well, again, he's got the Premier League experience, which I definitely think is an advantage. I know it's not always it's not the be all and end all with a signing. I think you could bring signings in from other places who could do great. You look at like players like Kabai, who walked in and was fantastic without two takes. But you also look at players who have come in like Joe Linton and have taken they still haven't adapted yet. Let's be honest. Ramsey coming in, he already knows the football. And you see with Newcastle as well at the moment, and I'm hoping this changes under Eddie Howe, to be honest. I'm hoping this changes under Eddie Howe, but we could really do with someone who's going to pick the game up at the scruff of the net and do something with it. And I think Ramsey's that kind of player. I think St. Max is that kind of player if he fancies it. Because I actually don't think St. Max has looked as good in the last few games. But again, it's a new manager now. It's a new start. So we'll see what he does this weekend. I think he'll be very good this weekend. I think you'll want to play this weekend. I think Wilson does it as well. Is that it? That could be it. So we need that kind of dynamic player who will pick the ball up. He'll run with the ball. He'll throw himself around when he needs to. I think Ramsey's definitely that kind of player. Keep going down. Get Alan Shearer in. Well, I'll tell you what, mate. Just stick him on the pen spot. Stick him on the pen spot and see what he can do. Dembele is always injured. Yeah, mate. Well, again, we'll have the vote shortly, so you guys can let me know what you think. I love a backup for Wilson in the middle. Ramsey or Van der Beek. Yeah, I think Van der Beek is and someone else who is. I'll show you the list. There it is. Van der Beek. I think Van der Beek is another player who has been heavily linked. Again, it's another player from a top six side who isn't getting any game time. It's similar to the Ake situation, really. Van der Beek on here. There he is. 14-1 odds on him. So you get a bit more money back if you put your money on him. But yeah, similar to Ake, similar to probably a few players we'll talk about. Oh God, I completely lost my train of thought there. Sorry about that. I don't do that very often. He's the kind of player who's very good, but he's not getting the game time. That's where I was trying to go with that one. Where are we now? Ryan wants to see James Milner, bringing him back to Newcastle. Go on, we'll put him on there. Why not? Yeah, I can't see it happening, mate. I mean, what's James Milner's contract situation? He can't have long left at Liverpool. Who knows? I don't think we'll find James Milner on this list either, mate, to be honest. I mean, we've got Salah. What's more likely, Salah or James Milner making his return? We also have here Saw. Tarkowski was spoken about in Ward-Prowse. Have we got them on here? Nah, we don't. Although I am quite surprised, to be fair. I thought Saw would be a player that may well have been linked with us. Again, slightly different with the Saw and Ward-Prowse stuff. Again, we were talking about players who weren't getting game time. These guys are getting game time. Southampton, in fairness, have stepped up in the last couple of weeks. I think they won their game against Villa on the Friday night before the international break. And can I see Ward-Prowse leaving? I think the thing with Saw is that he's playing for Watford, and to be honest, I mean we haven't been great either. But Watford are a team you would associate with probably going back down again this season. It's not to say that that we'll stay up and they'll go down. It could well be the other way around. But I do think these kind of links are coming in because we're kind of offering a bit of a yes, it will be probably as tough for us as it is Watford in the next season or so. But what you're looking at with someone like Saw and same with Ward-Prowse is that, get in here early, get your foot in the door early. 2 years, 3 years time, you could be playing for a team that have spent a whole lot of money and could be sat in a much better position. So it's almost offering the chance to these players, get your foot in the door now while you can, and we'll see where we can get to. Dom is saying Conor Cody captain material. I mean, that is one thing we are definitely lacking at Newcastle. Is captain material. So I do like the Conor Cody shout. From what I've heard, actually, he hasn't had the best of starts. So if I'm wrong about that, then let me know. But I definitely think we are in desperate need of A, centre backs, but B, I do think captain material is something that we need to assess. I think, again, I mentioned him earlier, someone like Ramsey would come in. I think he would have a voice. I think the team looks like we don't have a voice. I think Richie is probably the one who probably does the most shouting, but I just think we've just been so flat, full stop, in the last couple of, 14 years. But very recently, we've looked even flatter than we have this season, especially. So I definitely think it's something to look at. Real Murky's coming in with the Ansu Fati. Coutinho, we have spoken about, but didn't actually put him on. So well done for bringing that up again. I'm about 10 minutes behind on the comments, by the way, so I do apologize. I might just skip forward shortly just to catch up. So if I haven't read out your suggestion and it isn't on here yet, hang on, I'll show you in full volume. And it's not on here yet, then do let me know again. I'll try and skip forward a few so we can try and get as many on here as possible before we do the vote in about 15 minutes time. I do have a fresh trim, Trev. Thank you for noticing, my friend. As I say, I like the short sides, but I think I could have done with more off the top, to be honest. But hey-ho, it'll look the same in a few weeks anyway. I'm not too worried. Ian Natural from Leicester. I mean, that is certainly a shout as well. We spoke earlier about how we definitely do need a replacement to Wilson. So I'm very interested in ideas for how you spell your Nacho. So I am very interested to hear your guys' thoughts on a striker. Again, Callum Wilson, horribly injury prone. And we definitely need to bring someone in. No, it's not. You were close, mate, though. It's a good effort. It's a funny one to spell, I'll give you that. But yeah, so I definitely think we need to bring in a striker, and maybe Iheanacho could be the one. I don't know what the situation is at Leicester at the moment, because obviously if Vardy's getting a little bit older, is Iheanacho not the next man to come in? Ivan's talking about Sissoko. No, you know what? I'll put him on there on the off chance that maybe somebody else might like to see him back. I think Sissoko's gone to Watford and been given the captain's armband, which I was incredibly surprised by, considering I never would have classed him as captain material when he was here. And in fact, do we think he did okay at Spurs? I don't think he did amazingly well, but I think he had a horrible start and then actually kind of wasn't too bad in some games. Yeah, great shouts there. We've got them on there. Ward-Prowse, yeah, leadership and set-piece ability. Well, I'll tell you what, that set-piece that John George Shelby took with 2 minutes to go against Brighton when they had a defender in goal. What? Imagine having Ward-Prowse on the pitch for that, outside the box, hammers it in. I mean, that would be quality. We need to focus on young players, current Premier League players. How's Coutinho and Ramsey could be another Michael Owen. I'll stick Hazard on there. That's one that hasn't been shouted out yet. And that's actually another person we've been linked with. Again, do I see us bringing in Hazard? No. Is he on this list of... Coutinho is 6-1, by the way. I didn't actually mention that. Hazard is not on here. Hazard is a player we've been linked with. Again, I think the reason we've been linked with someone like Hazard, again, it's the name. It's the razzmatazz. I do think we will. If I could pick what I want to happen now, I'd like to see us bring in 3-4 players who are really going to either know the league or are young and hungry, or going to really try hard for us. And then another player who has the name of a Dembele or a Coutinho. Because again, there's two things to it. You kind of want to see other teams be like, oh, wow, they are bringing in like that name. That's a big signing. The owners want to show the world that they are coming in and they're meaning business. So yes, I would definitely like to see one of those kind of signings, but I also definitely want to see players who are coming here because they're hungry to play football and because they want to do well. Again, maybe it's like Ake who's not getting game time to make that move to a club, really a worse off club right now, to get game time and show what he can do. You know, that's hunger for the game. That's not because we're going to pay him loads. He's probably already getting paid loads. He doesn't have to move for the money. But I think some of these other guys, you know, who are at the end of their careers but have got a great name attached to them, you know, those are the guys that, you know, put bums in seats and get people to turn Newcastle on Sky because they want to see Coutinho. But they aren't the kind of guys who I would necessarily say are going to save us from relegation. Not to say that they can't. I think the quality of these players would definitely add. But I also want to see... why don't we get Ake on loan with an option to buy them? Yeah, mate, to be fair, I didn't really factor that in, did I? I didn't factor loans in to the vote. So we're going to have to take it what you will. If you want to click Ake because it's a loan with an option to buy or a loan, then feel free. K Moggy's coming in with the Lingard shout. That's another one. He was definitely on here. He is one of the highest. I actually read the other day, and again, when I say read, I mean from another source who's linking us to another player, because we're linked with everyone, saying that apparently Manchester United are ready to let Lingard go. And I'm sure it said they were willing to sell him for 10 million. And I mean, if that's the case, if Manchester United are willing to let him go for that smaller fee, I think he would probably choose to go to West Ham. I bet, you know what? Do we think Jesse Lingard's regretting his decision this season to not go to West Ham? They're currently sitting in third. They beat Liverpool the other week. And instead, yes, he got to train with Ronaldo, but he's got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a coach, and they've been useless. And he's not getting a game. I think he gets on the pitch a bit, doesn't he? But he's not getting the first team football that he would have had at West Ham. And they are absolutely smashing it this season. So I bet he's feeling a little bit like he's made a mistake there. The elite salesman coming in with the Basuma shout again. That is certainly someone else we've been linked with. I think, is he on here? Oh, this list is useless, isn't it? There's barely anyone on it. Yeah, I think Basuma is another really good shout, so we will put him on there as well. I'm interested to see what happens with Basuma, because at the end of the day, he's not just been linked to us; he's been linked with. We look at, I mean, again, we've just spoken about Manchester United. I mean, I'd much rather we got him, but he's been linked with Manchester United. They're in a desperate need for a centre midfielder. McFred aren't quite doing the business for them at the moment. And he's looked fantastic for Brighton. I mean, the fact that, well, what was this? Oh, I did my predictions video yesterday. I did it nice and early this week. So if you've not seen it yet, then be sure to jump over there after the end of this stream and get your predictions in for this weekend's Premier League matches. But, Brighton, I think, haven't won in the last 5 now. I think they've drawn 4 and lost 1. So they haven't quite been getting as many wins, or not quite continuing the way they started the season, but have still looked very decent. And Basuma is a big part of that. So I think there will be, and will Brighton let him go in the January? I don't know. It depends how much the money offer is. I think Basuma will be quite highly priced coming into the January. So we'll have to watch out for that one. K Moggy's thrown in a Basuma and a Lamperty, so let's stick Lamperty on there as well. I mean, and I saw a few comments earlier saying we are in need of a fullback. I think Lamperty could be quite a good one. The only thing with Lamperty is he injury prone, or was he just been unlucky with injuries recently? Because I know he's been injured for quite a while. Was it last season he looked really good and everyone got excited, and then he got injured, and then he came back, and then he got injured again? Mark's coming in with the Calvin Phillips. Throw him in there as well. Again, I mean, we are in midfielders. It's funny. It's and again, this will be when you do your vote, because you're going to have a lot of options here to pick between when you're picking your favorite five. It would be interesting to know who would partner with Calvin Phillips, because again, it's that kind of player. It's kind of like Hayden-esque, kind of Longstaff as well. I mean, and even Shelby likes to sit back. Other than Willock, we don't have anyone who wants to go forward. I think, if anything, Calvin Phillips could be more attacking than most of them, to be honest. Van der Beek loan till the end of the season. I think it's a good shout. I'm just going to try and jump through some of these because I'm quite far behind in the comments. Any centre mid who can run, I think that is a very good shout. Yes, we need legs in our squad. We definitely do. I think Willock was the player we hoped to kind of provide that. And obviously with his injury trouble. A shout coming in from Kayan for Lacazette, contract up in the summer. That's, again, we want to see a new striker come in this January. Absolutely. Would Arsenal be listening to offers for Lacazette when they know his contract's going to end? Not really sure how I feel about Lacazette. I mean, again, at the end of the day, I'll take anyone at this rate. If the option is Dwight Gale is a backup, or Lacazette, or even, a bit of mix and match with Wilson, Lacazette. Wilson's very injury prone. Where can Lacazette take a couple of games off him, or even would he just create a bit of competition in there? That's another thing we need. Never mind cover, competition. We're not buying a striker to sit on the bench behind Wilson. What we should be doing is buying a striker who's going to come in and immediately create some competition in that spot. Wilson has no competition. And thankfully for us, he plays well even without the competition. But that's a problem we've had with the centre mids and centre backs to a degree, is that everyone's so bad there's no competition. It just doesn't seem to matter who plays because everyone's terrible. Like, we want to actually see some competition in positions. Would Lacazette? Yeah, that's an interesting one. I definitely want to hear what you guys want to think. I'm unsure on Lacazette, but it's definitely a shout. And again, depending on price and depending on who else is available, is a good one. Conor Gallagher. Yeah, I'll get him on as well. He's obviously been spoken about a lot, not necessarily linked with Newcastle, but just having a fantastic time at Crystal Palace at the moment. He's on loan from... Oh, God. I'm going to guess Chelsea, just because everyone's on loan from Chelsea, but I don't know who it actually is. I'll quickly look it up. Conor Gallagher. He is on loan from Chelsea. Well, there you go. If someone's on loan from somewhere, if you guessed Chelsea, you're probably right. Chi coming in with the Koulibaly shout again. I think I saw someone else say that earlier as well. We are in desperate need of players. I mean, again, he's the kind of player that was linked with some big moves over the last few years, and for whatever reason, they never really came off. Would he trade it in for a trip up to the northeast? I'm not sure, but this is our list. So if we want him, we'll buy him. Ramsey is also doing very well with Leeds. Trippier, is he on here? Oh, this list is terrible. Oh, Calvin Phillips is on there, 20-1. From my man Mark, I think it was, who said Calvin Phillips, 20-1. So he is actually linked in there at the moment. Conor Cody, I don't think I mentioned him, 15-2 in there. I think we've got most of the top runners on our list now. But I will add Trippier. He is certainly someone I've seen Oh, that was Markio there as well. Did you see the other one earlier too? Um, Definitely think Trippier is a good shout. Wants to come back to the Premier League, does he? Who doesn't want to come back to the Premier League? Who doesn't want to play at St. James's Park as well? Jabba throwing it up. Subscribe, guys. Yeah, guys, if you are watching right now, please do drop a subscribe on the channel. I know there's a lot of people watching who aren't subscribed. So if you could do, that would be massive. TOON Tuesdays every Tuesday. I'm trying to make it as interactive as possible with you guys. And it's a lot of fun. So please do subscribe, and I'll be at the match this weekend. Against Brentford with the vlogs and everything. And I think I am meeting up with Matty from the Magpie channel, possibly Friday or Saturday, to do a few videos as well. So there should be quite a lot of content this week, and hopefully a first win on Saturday. But yeah, let's keep jumping through. Dave jumping in with a hi, mate. Hello, my friend. How are you? Kieran with the Loftus Cheek shout. Ooh, this is bad. What's Loftus-Cheek doing now? Where is he? Obviously, he was at Chelsea. He had his loan time at Crystal Palace. Is he just back at Chelsea now? And is he getting a game? Yes. Loftus-Cheek is still at Chelsea. And he just one day ago said, oh, this must have been the manager. I've got a I feel as good. Oh, this is Loftus-Cheek saying, I feel as good as I've ever felt on starting more games in the Premier League. There you go. Yeah, I think that's definitely an interesting one. We definitely need midfielders. Loftus-Cheek a couple of years ago was such an attractive prospect of a centre mid. Has it lost a bit of that now? Is he still the same player? Has he still got the same pull and as he did a couple of years ago? Well, you guys will have to let me know when you vote. Sorry, I'm going to try and jump on a little bit more. So you guys are commenting stuff, and it's so far back. We have a shout for Adam Armstrong return. We will put that in as well. Obviously, we were heavily linked with him in the summer before he went to Southampton because we still had the first offer buy clause from when he went to Blackburn. He's gone to Southampton. He looked really good at the start of the season, and to be fair, and this is probably nothing to do with him, or it probably is a little bit, but they just generally didn't look that good. And I think Southampton losing a player like Danny Ings, who is always going to score a lot of goals. I think Adam Armstrong is certainly a player who will help add to the goals and will probably get you 10, 12 a season, but he's not a Danny Ings 20 goals a season kind of player. So it was great to see him score the other night. It was him who scored against Villa, I think, for the 1-0. So it was good to see him score. I'd like to see him back to St. James's Park. Maybe. Isaac coming in here with the Ivan Toney shout. Again, another ex-Newcastle player who has gone to Brentford. Again, we were linked with him before he went to Brentford because we had our buy clause on him. If I can spell Tony right. And again, has looked pretty good for Brentford so far. I mean, Brentford themselves have dropped off a bit. Obviously, we saw them give their first win to Burnley, the first win to Norwich. And now hopefully the first win to Newcastle as well. So hopefully Ivan Toney does not score this Saturday against us. That would be appreciated. You can see Geordie TOON for life, Henderson, Man U. Man United, yes. I've seen a few shouts for Henderson, to be fair. So I'm sorry that I've not picked up on them sooner. I'm just kind of throwing myself around the comments here. I'll put Man United. What's his first name? Never mind. Just not to confuse it with Henderson from Liverpool. Goalie. Do we need a goalie? I think for me, Dubravka, when he's fit, is more than enough. The problem is he's not fit. and we're playing Darlow instead. And in fairness to Darlow, I think he's done all right this season. I think Darlow and Dubravka's shot stopping are probably about as good as each other. I think Darlow's shot stopping ability is actually really good. The problem is he doesn't control his defense. He doesn't command the box. He's not great from corners and free kicks and crosses. So, like, it depends where you want to be. I think Henderson as a backup to Dubravka would definitely be better. Would Henderson be ahead of Dubravka? Maybe not. As I said, I would put anyone on. Geordie wants McTominay. I think. Again, at this point, as a Newcastle fan, I think I'd have anyone, to be honest. But he wouldn't be my first choice. Again, like, it just depends on who else we're linked with. If there's a few other midfielders, I think I'd probably take Calvin Phillips or a few others before him. But it's not to say that I'll write it off altogether. I am starting to catch up on comments. Get in. We've got a shout for Ollie Watkins as well. Again, we're talking about strikers. Is that the third one we've put on now? Oh, no, we did have Ivan, Tony, and Armstrong. So we've probably got about a handful of strikers on there now. Is Watkins on here for the odds? No, he is not. I'm not a massive fan of Ollie Watkins, to be honest, but that's just my opinion. I had him, and it's probably because I've been scarred, because I had him in my fantasy team, and he refused to score. So that is why I'm not overly keen on him. But again, we definitely need someone to be in there with Wilson, and I do think he's a good player as well. So I really hope that we can bring in a striker soon. I've just spotted here that we. I'm going to try and catch up on the comments because I've just seen that One Way have thrown in a €5 donation. So thank you, mate. This is my good friend James, for anyone who doesn't know. I actually did a video with him over on his channel the other week, and he's an Arsenal fan. So I am planning on getting him on the video to do a little Arsenal preview sometime next week. So watch out for that. And feel free to go over to One Way and drop him a little subscribe as well. And watch the video that I did with him over on his channel talking about Eddie Howe. Imagine out of nowhere the Haaland deal happens in January. Well, it would definitely be unexpected, and I suppose you never do know. So I will put him on there. I wonder, I don't know how many. I suppose if you can vote for who you want to come in, maybe he'll do all right in this poll. But in terms of genuine links, I think would do very well to bring in someone like him. But I did say that the owners want to make a statement, but that would be a hell of a statement. That would cost a lot of money, and B, I don't think he probably wants to come and have a relegation fight. Maybe in 5 years' time when we're in a bit of a better position. And he is on this list, believe it or not, at 50-1. So if you like James from One Way, you think Haaland might actually be a thing, get yourself a fiver on that and win yourself a few £100. Tony coming in there. How's it going, Tony? You all right? That's the first comment I've seen you've put in. Apparently, Howe wants Mings. I did see that as well. Again, are we just being linked with him because we're desperate for centre-backs, or is that a genuine thing? I mean, I'll trust Eddie Howe in what he thinks is best. I mean, the one thing that Mings does have is a left foot. For a centre-back to kind of come out with the ball, we could do with one who has a left foot. However, he hasn't been that great. Is he getting a game for Villa at the moment? I'll tell you what I will do. Yeah, he is, to be fair. Yeah, he played in the last couple of games. Oh, I heard that he hadn't been doing so well this season. I wondered whether he was still playing, but apparently he is. Jonathan David from Lille. Gonna be honest with you, Will. I don't know who that is, but I will put him on the list for you. And is he English? Jonathan David. It sounds like a very English name. Um, or is it Jonathan David? Oh, it's Canadian guy. Oh, is this as in? Sorry. It's because I'm reading it as the most British name ever. I was like, who is this man? But yes, I definitely know who he is. Again, it's a forward, and it's a position that we need to definitely try and add to. Watkins is good on his day. Maybe I'm just watching him at the wrong time. James Madison, maybe. Again, he's someone else he's getting called out a little bit for maybe not playing well as he should. I mean, Leicester generally haven't been playing very well, have they? So maybe it's his time to go somewhere new and show the world what he can do. We have a shout in here for Navas from PSG. He's 35 and benched by Donnarumma. We'll put him in. Again, I think we're okay for goalkeepers at the moment. I think, well, I say that the minute Dubravka gets injured, is Darlow really gonna be good enough for the full season? For example, if Dubravka got injured and then didn't play again this season, would that be enough? Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to throw this up on here now, and I'm going to try and bash through them and try and get a few in. Guest of Gregory House wants to see Mbappe. It's a very good shout, my friend. Hopefully we will. Morgul wants to see Wijnaldum. Would Wijnaldum come back to Newcastle? I don't know. I mean, he's kind of landed on his feet a little bit with this PSG move, hasn't it? Because all of a sudden he's on there on a free for a little bit of a bit of money before he retires, probably, and suddenly Messi walks in. He's gone, hang on, I've done a good job here. Koulibaly is on the list, Callum. Thank you for that. Isaac? Get him on there. Oh, I've spelled it wrong straight away. Well done, Rob. We also have Belotti out of contract as well. Interesting one. We've got a Quadrado shout. I haven't heard his name in a while. Is he still going? I don't know how many you're allowed to put on this list. I mean, this list isn't bad, is it? You're gonna have a good bit of fun. Billy Gilmore, again, it's another young player. He's not is he not getting played at Norwich at the minute, is he? Because that was one criticism they had of Farker. Again, he is another Chelsea lad out on loan, isn't he? I need to believe in myself more. He is Chelsea. They're all Chelsea. Anyone who's on loan, it's Chelsea. It's easy. Yeah, he's Norwich have been getting a bit of stick because they've loaned him there and they're not playing him and they're still losing every game. So we'll have to see maybe if we could have a better home at Newcastle and we'll give him a bit more time. Adama Traore. Again, we can never have too many tricky wingers, can you? I am at the match on Saturday, Callum. Hopefully to see our first win of the season. Tillemans. Again, we could do with a centre midfielder, can we? Can Newcastle sign me? Oh, Pete, I was so tempted to just put your name on there, but because if I do, you'll probably win, and that would ruin it. Would stop the poll, and I plan on putting this as a video as well. So if people come into the video for the first time and the number one pick is Pete, I think that might put people off voting. So we'll have to leave it, mate. But you're in there in my heart. Sewell, the defender, again, yeah. Callum, I'm picking up all your comments here, aren't I? But yeah, I did see that one earlier, and Diabala as well. He was another guy who was on this list with the odds. If you want to put a bet on him. Getro Mitro back. He is on fire, Jan. You're right. Mitro is definitely on Jan? No, Mitro. Mitro is definitely on fire at the moment. It's in the championship though. I'll tell you what, right? I'll tell you what. One of my, if not possibly still, my favorite moments at St. James's Park. Definitely home games. I don't know away games, but one of my favorite moments, and it was the first season I'd started the channel. It's the first season I started doing the YouTube. The first season I officially got my season ticket was that championship season when we got relegated with Rafa. 3-2 down, and we won 4-3 in stoppage time against Norwich in a championship game. Mitro, did Mitro even score, or did he just set Gale up? I can't even remember. Mitro in the middle of the centre circle with the announcer blasting Free From Desire, Mitro's on fire, and Mitro was in the middle of the centre circle dancing to Mitro's on fire while the whole of St. James's Park sang Mitro's on fire. I don't know where the rest of the players had gone. I think they'd all gone inside. It was like, Mitro ran back out on the pitch, didn't he, after their qualifying game when they won the other night? It was like that. He'd come out on the pitch, centre circle, like 10 minutes after the game. Whole of St. James's Park was still full, singing Mitro's on fire. That was so good. So I'll be tempted to bring him back just for that. But again, I heard someone else say this. Is Mitro maybe now new owners? Is Mitro the equivalent of a Norwich? Is Mitro really good in the championship but can't quite do the Premier League? Wijnaldum not getting minutes. Might fancy a cheeky loan deal. There you go. We should raise Spurs for the players. Yeah, that's a good shout, James. Rumour have it you're in the move for Dele Alli. I think, again, he's another player who's a bit down on his luck at the moment. And again, you think how high thought of Dele Alli was not too long ago. And all of a sudden, a bit of bad form, and it's kind of all falling away. Mitro and Wijnaldum back would set the place on fire. I think it would. Van der Beek, no brainer. Yeah, he's in there, mate. He's one of the first few on the list. Pete with the smiley face. Van der Beek is also on the list, my friend Bradley. Thank you for your comment. Break the bank for Pete. We need Pete. Pete, where do you play? You striker or what? Because we need a Callum Wilson replacement ASAP. Kessie? Is that like a Pete or is that a real player? Let's put it in. Apologies, I don't know who Kessie is. Luka Modric? Let's go for it. I mean, again, it's certainly a name that would attract some publicity for the club. Again, I think he might be slightly past it at this point. Well, I shouldn't say that, really, slightly past it. I mean, he's still a fantastic player, but it's more along the lines of a player who was going to 36 years old. And, you know, I just think the amount of game time you'll have in the Premier League and the amount of tough, horrible, scrappy matches we're going to play in, if he's not going to really get the best use. But I'll tell you what, though, if it happened, Luka Modric, Coutinho, some of these players I think would definitely help. But at the same time, I think you need to surround them with players who are going to do all of the running for them. Like, we don't run at the minute. So if we just brought in Luka Modric and expected him to do it, we are going to have a sad time. We need to bring in Luka Modric, and we also need to bring in, Renato Sanchez or someone like that, who will do the running around for them. They will break up the play. They will do the tackling. They will then give the ball to Luka Modric, and then he can do a game-winning ball to St. Max on the wing. So, yeah, I definitely think it's a shout. I don't think it's my top shout, but if you can give him the support, then who knows what you could do. Mitro's best moment has to be getting Booked 5 seconds into his debut. Yeah, that was good. Okay, we're coming to the end, guys. A couple last minute, I'll give you a put in your prediction because I feel people are just saying anyone now. Martial, I tell you what, so, I can't really see them leaving, but some of the Manchester United players, you look at Rashford, Greenwood, Martial, Sancho, all of these wing players they're not really doing it at the moment. Sorry, Ian, what was your comment, mate? Can I read it out? Oh, hi guys, I'm a Darlington fan. We were made bankrupt in 2000 and then moved from them to motor 4 leagues, and we had 3 promotions and are currently fan owned by. Good for you, Ian. Thank you for watching the stream, mate, and best of luck to the Darlington team. Indeedy. I mean, again, Leicester aren't doing great. I mean, I think he's the kind of player we do need. I mean, Kante would be number 1 and DG number 2 for that player who will do all the breakup play. Right, okay, I'm going to call it now. Hello, David. Matip? Is that a genuine one or just saying anyone now? David Ginola? Okay, I think... Right, I read it out, so I'll put it on. But I think that's enough. Okay, right then. So, thank you to everyone who got the comments in. Oh, I like the Max Aarons one. Okay, we'll have one more. We need fullbacks. To be honest, we need fullbacks. I think we've only got a couple on there. An Origi from Liverpool as well. Yeah, I've heard that linked. And just to finish it off, John Allenboom song. We definitely need to get him back. I mean, if there's anyone we need, it's him. Thank you, Tony. Cavani. Okay, right. That is it now. Cavani. Good shout, my friend. Ruben Diaz should be on there. I mean, this list got a little bit out of hand, to be honest. It was slightly longer than I wanted it to be, but we are there. Right, okay, so if I quickly... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the chat. And I am going to allow multiple choices. So it's up to you guys how you want to do this. You are allowed multiple choices. So if you wanted to, you could click everyone. I've no doubt there's people in here that you don't like. So what I would suggest you do is pick the 5 players that you would most like to see on this list. The alternative way to do it would be to go down and just tick the players that you like as well. So while you guys are doing that, I'll probably do it as well. And then we'll look at the live results coming through. And effectively, the top 5 will be the fan-voted Roobenstein 5 players we want to see in January. Okay? So let's get this poll going. The funny thing now is when I accidentally lose the poll. Okay. Share this poll. If I accidentally lose it, I'll be so sad because we've just spent an hour doing it. Right, okay. I've got it here. Right then. Here you go. In the chat. Get on that. I'll try and put it in the actual video as well. So if you're watching, the poll is officially in the chat. For anyone who's just jumping in, get involved if you're a bit late. I want to hear the people on this list, really the top 5. Pick 5 that you are your favorite. Cast your votes. Well said, Tony. Cast your votes. Who do you want to see Newcastle sign this January? I am going to find my own video and put it in the top line of the description as well. And what I will say is, if you're watching right now, please drop a like. If you're watching this video, we've got over 100 people watching this live vote. So I would love to see 100 likes on the video. Have your vote. Then Okay, so if you want to vote, it should also now be in the top line of the description. I will put it in the chat again for anyone who has just jumped in now. Oh, Geordie's coming in with the Rafinha shout. Sorry, mate, it's too late. We've got our list now. Done 5 players from one way. Good man. Get your shouts in. What I'll do is I'll quickly run through mine with you guys here. And then what I'll do is we'll have a bit of time watching the results. We'll see what the results say as well. Geordie's saying 5 players only. Yeah. Am I doing 5 players only? I was going to go through and just tick the ones I want to see. Okay, I'll do 5 players as well. As I say, you can't limit the number of votes. It's an open vote. So if people want to put everyone, they can. But the idea is we want around 5. Yeah, okay. So Mark said he's chose 7 or 8. The idea is we're looking to try and get, well, it's going to be the top 5. So regardless, whether you vote for 1 or you vote for 10, it will be the top 5 on the list that will be as chosen by the Roobenstein fans. Pete went for Ake, Donny, Saw, Lamberty, and Mings. If you want to let me know what you guys went for, then please feel free to say. I'm going to say bring in a few on that list. Yeah, well, absolutely, mate. Maybe everyone. Yeah, maybe that would be the best way to do it. We're doing the top 5. We should have done the top 25. We could have just had a whole new squad, to be honest. I think rumors about 50 million is true. What for the spend in January? I mean, Amanda said she didn't really want to spend anyone, didn't she? So didn't want to spend anything in January, didn't she? So it'll be tough. I don't know how much we'll spend. I just want us to spend something. Okay. Yeah, keep your comments coming in. As I say, if you've not liked the video yet, please like it. It'll be great to get 100 likes on the live stream. So 5 players. So I'll do it as well. And again, because what are the rules here? Is it the 5 players we want, or is it the 5 players who we think are realistic, and that we genuinely think have a chance? Yeah, 50 million is realistic to not get ripped off. I do agree. And again, I think if we're not in the bottom 3, it makes it so much easier to bring in players. Yeah. Vote, like, and subscribe. Thank you, Chi. Okay, let's pick mine. I'm gonna go with Ake. I know he's only been recently linked, but I do quite like him. And of the centre backs we've been linked with, I think he's possibly my favourite. I think Tarkowski is up there as well. The only thing is, I think Tarkowski's maybe slightly more suited to the pain we're going to receive this season with the games we're in. I don't know if Ake has been sat on the bench for maybe a little bit too long now. Oh God, I'm on the first one. Right, I'm gonna have to just do it the way it is. I also quite like Ramsey as well. I don't know if this is gonna be. Oh my God, we forgot Willems. We did, Sam. Oh, what a nightmare. Oh, for God's sake, I was literally looking at I was literally looking at pictures of Jetro and St. Max earlier today, and I still didn't put him on the list. Oh, for God's sake. Oh, well. He can be number 6 on the list, all right? We can sign him regardless. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go Ramsey. Again, I don't really know what people think of Ramsey at the moment. I think just because he's been away for a little while, but I think if he can come and do for us what he does for Wales would be huge. I like Basuma as well, but I just don't know whether we would actually get him. Okay, I'm just going to leave it. Basuma, that's a defender, 2 midfielders. I need to pick at least 1 striker. Who did we? I'm gonna have to see what you guys went for shortly. Who am I going for here? You know what it is? I'm gonna go Cavani. That isn't actually what I thought I would vote for, but I think it's who I am gonna go for. Just because of the fact that I think he can definitely throw himself around quite a bit. And also the fact that, really, Ronaldo, he's Cavani's not going to. I just can't see Cavani coming to Newcastle. He's in the later stages of his career. He's going to want to sit and enjoy himself even if it's on the bench at Manchester United. I just can't see him coming to us. So, Rob has knackered his broadband. Oh God, has it gone off? I did think there hadn't been too many comments in a while. Oh, I'll continue on in the hope that it might fix itself. Cavani. Oh, we're back. Hey, we must be back. Okay, good stuff. Right, sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. Buffering for me. Okay, I think we're back. I think we're back again. Hopefully. Whack 50p in the meter. I have, Mark. I have. It's working, but it's struggling a little bit. Okay, right, mate. Right, let's get my final few picks in, then we'll move on. Who should we go for? Ramsey, Basuma. I'm not picking Cavani because it's just not happening. Buffering here too. Oh, lads. Someone wants Ronaldo. We should have put him on the list. In terms of a striker, I don't like any of them. It's just there isn't much going on at the minute. I think if I like anyone the most, I would say Cavani, but I just can't see Cavani coming to Newcastle. Fine, now we're back. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I went and put 50p in the meter as I was suggested by Mark, and hopefully we're back up and running again now. But fine, I'm going to leave Cavani. I can't see him coming to Newcastle, but if I had to pick between those players, I think I would go for him. I want a working midfielder, so I've gone for Basuma and I've gone for Ramsey. I've also got Ake as my centre back, so I need one more. I need a fullback. I need a centre back. There's too many. There's too many to choose from. Yeah, Origi can play on the wing. I'd like to see what Origi could do with a consistent game time. I think there's definitely more chance we get Origi over Cavani. I'll tell you that. Go on, then I'll change it. You've changed your mind. And then finish off. Oh, you know who I would like to see? Was one of the first ones, Ward-Prowse as well. I'd like to see Ward-Prowse, but again, I mean, if we got him, I think it would be a really good buy. I think Ake would help the defense straight away. It's between Ake and Tarkowski, to be honest. I'm going to go for Ake. I think Ramsey would bring a bit of voice to the changing room. It is a bit of a big name-ish. Like, he would definitely attract some attention. And we've seen what he does for Wales. He'll pick the ball up. He'll make something from it. Ward-Prowse, he's still a young lad, set piece specialist. He'll be hungry to do well for us, I would like to think. Basuma, obviously, again, he's linked with everyone and their dog. So why he would choose Newcastle in the relegation battle, I'm not sure. But we'll pick him. And then to go for a striker out of what we had, I went with the main man from Liverpool, the Champions League winner. Basuma getting done for assault. I don't know, my friend. If that's the case, then maybe my list might have to change. Okay, I'm going to look at I'm going to put in my vote. And we're going to have a look at the results. So let's make this interesting because you guys can see the results as well, can't you? I was going to say, who do you guys think who's number one? Let's just show it. Oh, I could possibly try and do it as a bit of a mystery. And we'll make our way up from the bottom. Okay, let's do that. That's more fun. Right, okay, so here we go. Here is the list from bottom to top of the Roobenstein as voted top 5 players we want to see signed by Newcastle this January. And just to add, if you are watching the video or if you are late to the stream, the link is in the chat and it is also in the top line of the description. So Mitro got 0 votes, Ollie Watkins. So there's 2 strikers who got 0 votes. Hazard got 0 votes, Sissoko got 0 votes. Matip coming in with the 1. Modric, Bala. These are all the 1 votes here. Ivan Toney actually did less. Got less votes than I expected him to get. Mbappe coming in with the 2. I think people are being realistic with their voting, which is what I like to see. McTominay with the 2. Basuma, I voted for. I was one of the 2 people who voted for him, so he wasn't very popular with you guys. Iheanacho, again, another striker without much of a shout. Renato Sanchez, that is. Tillemans, Traore, Billy Gilmore. Haaland with the 3. As we make our way up to the top. Slowly but surely, Conor Gallagher with a 6. Cody with a 7. I thought he might have done a little bit better as well. Coutinho with an 8 and a Dembele with an 8. As we start to move into what I think is going to be the top 5. Ward-Prowse is in there. Ake is as well. Van der Beek with a huge vote. Tarkowski and Lingard. Lingard topped the votes with 24. I think it is on automatic refresh. Let's zoom out. Oh, no, it's not. Lingard topping the charts with 24. I voted for Basuma too. Get in, Tony. And there you have it. There's the Roobenstein top 5 January transfer targets as voted by the channel. As I say, if you are watching video, the link is still there. If you want to come back tomorrow or the day after and get a full view of the voting, then you can do that as well. Again, drop a like and subscribe if you're watching. Sorry that the internet had a bit of a funny turn at the end there, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream anyway. And that is where we are going to cut off. So thank you all for watching. It was good fun. It was good fun talking about all these players. I was going to actually get on to talking about the match this weekend. Oh, Van der Beek has just taken a jump into the lead. I was going to get on to talking about Brentford this weekend, but we ended up talking about the transfers a lot longer than I planned. So maybe I'll come back, or I will come back later this week, maybe Thursday night, and have a little talk about the lineups and how we think Eddie Howe is going to set up for Brentford. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Look out for the video this Saturday. I'm not sure if I've even got any, if the internet's still working, because no one said anything in a while. So hopefully it is. I can see the votes are still coming in. So thank you for watching. Thank you for all getting involved. Enjoy the rest of your week. Fingers crossed at the weekend. And I'll catch you all later.